Tony, then I want to get Tony's personal feeling toward you.
Well, actually, when I first met him, the whole 3 series, I hated the bum. I really wanted to kill this guy.
Seems like a nice, quiet man. Why would you want to do that?
He was always a nice, quiet man, but he wasn't a quiet man when he was in the ring. He was a little dangerous, but he was one heck of a great fighter. He boxed guys before me. He fought great champions, Billy Conn and Al Ostock and all those kind of guys. He was a great fighter. This man, great fighter, Don.
Tony, what was your feeling toward Rocky?
Well, I'll tell you, when I was in the Navy in Puerto Rico during the war, I had heard about some guy boxing in New York, Rocky Graziano, knocking guys out, you know. And some boys say, hey, one day you'll probably fight him. I said, oh, I don't think so. He may not be around when I come back. So, nevertheless, I remember the name. And I come out of service, of course, and began working for a comeback, and a match was made between myself and Graziano. So, well, I heard about him before. I heard about his activity, his punching, his power, and so forth. And I thought, well, I've got more experience than he has. I'm more saner, I think. And because of it, I'm ahead of him. I should be ahead of him. Of course, we fought until 46. If you remember that fight, I had him on the floor the first round. He had me on the floor the second round. And third, fourth, fifth round, he hit with right hands, you know.
Tony, I remember that first fight very well, having broadcast it. And tell me if I'm wrong. You knocked him out in the 6th round with a solar plexus right, and then a left hook to the jaw, a 1-2, right? But it was always my impression that at the end of the fight, Rocky was in better shape than you were.
So he was.
I remember Art Winston. They had to hold you up at the ropes.
I was more on the receiving end than he was at that time during the fight.
Well, I was the truth, though. In that fight, you're so right. I was doing a hell of a good job with that fight, and I was, you know, because he was getting a little tired or something. I hit him a couple of good shots around the head and stomach, and it was a hell of a fight. I was really banging away. I thought I said, I'm going to kill this guy. I'm going to flatten him. And all of a sudden, he gave me a Jewish uppercut right in the stomach. Why'd you do that for? Why'd you do that to me for?
Rocky,
this is the captain. We're going at it again.
Don't do that, Tony.
I couldn't let you keep pushing me around. You pushed me enough.
We're going to go back on an instant replay here. And we'd like to have you follow along with us. This is the knockdown. And hear your comments. Now, here it is coming up. Now, what do you remember? What was the way it was?
Well, I remember it quite well. I hit him with a left hook, and he went down. It's much the same as the first fight. I had him on canvas the first round.
Here it comes.
Also. So it's very, very similar to the first fight, where I had him on the floor the first round also. Right?
There it is. Ooh, right there. Right there. And down he goes. Did you think you had him there? Did you think you really hurt him?
Well, I thought I did, yes.
Well, he hit me a good left hook on the chin, man.
What did the corners tell you at the end of round 1? Do you remember what they told you over in round 1?
Well, I was still in the corner?
Yeah, in the corner. Did they say anything to you?
Didn't nothing too much. They didn't have to. I had pretty good ideas of what and they just told me keep cool, that's all.
What did they tell you?
Well, at the corner, Whitey Bimstein was in my corner. You know, Whitey was a hell of a nice guy. And Whitey Bimstein was a great trainer. He told me, Rocky, stay away from this guy. Jab him a little bit, until you get the right hand and you bang him. But jab him, stay away from this guy. Make him get tired, you know? He said he's kind of an old guy. An old guy. He's hurt me.
An old guy.
He's killing me. An old guy is knocking my brains out.
You're watching Graziano versus Zale, the final chapter on ESPN Classic Sports. Graziano versus Zale, the final chapter on ESPN Classic Sports.
Round 2 for the middleweight championship of the world. Rocky in the dark trunks, Zale in the purple trunks. The referee is Paul Cavalier. Rocky was down in the first round. Let's see how he does now. He's defending his title. Rocky comes in with a wild left that barely reaches the jaw of Tony Zale. Zale calmly drives the right hand to the head. Zale feints the left hand. Rocky coming in on him out of a half crouch, sticks out a left that's short of the mark. Graziano drives the left hand to the jaw. It gets in there. Zale goes into a crouch, gets away from the left. His own left is short. Graziano drives to the right to the body. He takes the left and a right to the jaw by Zale. Graziano is short with the left hand. Zale drives the right to the body. Rocky hooks his own left hand to the jaw. A light jab on the nose by Tony Zale. Graziano out of a half crouch. He bobs and weaves a lot. He comes in there with a lead right hand to the jaw. Another right to the jaw by Graziano. Zale sticks out a left that's short. Another jab by Zale is short of the mark. Graziano sticks out a left hand. It also is short. Graziano out of a half crouch. Gets away from a pecking left. Takes a left hook on the jaw by Zale. Graziano feinting the left hand. Sticks out a left that's short. Another is short of the mark. Zale backing away. Puts a light jab on the chin. Takes a hard left jab to the jaw thrown by Graziano. Graziano takes a light jab on the nose. Zale biding his time. Backs away. Takes a grazing right to the chin. Counters with a left that's blocked. And Graziano hooks the left hand to the jaw that may have hurt Zale. Graziano out of a half crouch. Takes a hard jab on the chin. Zale feigning the left hand. Pecks away with that left jab again. Ducks the right, fired at his head. Graziano out of a half crouch. Gets away from 3 left leads by Tony Zale. Graziano ducks another left hand. Sticks out a left that's short. Hooks the left hand to the jaw of Zale. Zale feints the left hand. Gets away from a light left thrown at his body by Graziano. Graziano a hard jab on the chin. Drives Zale back a little bit. Graziano is the aggressor here in round 2. After being hurt in round 1, he takes a left and a right to the jaw. Graziano comes back with a short right to the jaw. That was a very hard punch. Zale comes in with a sizzling right to the jaw, a right to the body, a left hook to the head by Zale, and Graziano drives him back with 2 right hands to the head, and Zale goes in and holds on for a moment. The referee is Paul Cavalier. Zale drives a right to the body, a right to the jaw, putting Graziano on the ropes again. Graziano comes off the ropes, runs into a right to the body, and then gets away from a right. Graziano feints the left, hooks the left to the jaw, takes a jab on the mouth by Zale. Graziano's left goes to the head, a right, another left, and another right to the jaw by Graziano in his best rally of the fight so far. He puts another left hook to the jaw. He's evening things up here in round 2. A right to the jaw by Graziano, and then he misses a right and a left. Scores with another right to the jaw of Zale. Zale dances up and down, takes the right to the body. His left hand of the body is blocked by Graziano. And again, the referee gets them apart. It's round 2. Zale biding his time, comes in with a hard left hook to the jaw of Graziano at the bell.
You had Rocky down, and maybe you thought you almost had him out in the first round.
Yeah.
Now you find Rocky coming back at you in the second round, and you've probably got memories of the Chicago fight in your mind and wondering, how do you handle a guy like this? How did you feel after his rally in the second round?
I felt, in a sense, to let him wear himself out a bit.
Really?
He was younger than I. I was 35 years old. He was 26, you know. He was a boy, I was an old man, so to speak. So I had to work a little bit. I wear himself out a little bit. He tried, of course. He did a good job of trying, and that was it.
Rocky, how did you feel after round 2? Did you feel you had it in hand?
Well, round 2, I thought, I says, I'm going to get this old guy and knock his brains out. And he was a pretty good shape at that time as a guy that was 35 years old. And look at the shape he's in now. He's like...
Yeah, he's fantastic.
39, right? And he looks
shape.
fantastic. And he's a heck of a good guy. And we have got a lot of good communication together. But the thing I don't like about him, he was too good of a fighter.
Rocky, let's go back again on a slow motion rerun.
Yes.
And have you do the commentary on it with
All
this
right.
flurry.
Okay.
In a second. It looked like you might have had him really in trouble here and could have won this fight at this stage. Go ahead.
Well, over here, I looked at him. I hit him with one good shot right on the chin or body or something. And he was a pretty tough guy right there. And I was trying to bang him out. Right now, I was bobbing and weaving, and he hit me with a shot over there, a good shot. And then I'm just looking to rough him up and just looking to hit him. One good shot in the chin because I was a pretty good puncher. And I figured if I hit a guy in the chin, I would knock him out, which I done like in the 87 knockouts I had. And I thought right there, I thought I would knock Mr. Zale out. But this nice little kid, Zale, was just a little too tough. And,
Just the toughest fighter you ever fought?
oh, he's the toughest guy I ever fought. And if you see the fights today, Kirk, You know, they're not like this here. They're not like this here. Forget about it. Everybody tells you the fights of today. Forget about it. The Olympics and the professional fighters that got around today. You just take a look at those fights and you'll see why him and I look like we look like.
Well, what do you feel about
Basically, we
that?
fought to win. Both of us, we fought to win. We wanted to win. I want to hold the title. He wanted to gain it. So we fought, gave our utmost to either way to win.
You're watching Graziano versus Zale, the final chapter on ESPN Classic Sports. Versus Zale, the final chapter on ESPN Classic Sports.
We've seen two tremendous rounds of fight in this third match between these two great middleweight champs. Now, this third round is a carbon copy of the first two rounds, so let's return for round 3 with Don Dumpy.
Round 3 of a sensational fight, a replica of their two previous fights. Graziano, a hard right hand to the body of Zale. Zale biding his time again, gets away from the right, drives the right to the body, a hard left hook to the jaw that may have hurt Graziano. Graziano is driven back and he's wobbly from the left hook to the jaw, and Zale is on him with a flurry of punches. Another left hook to the jaw, and Graziano almost goes down but doesn't. He takes a right to the body, a left hook to the jaw. Again, Graziano is staggered, and I don't know what's holding him up. He takes the right hand to the body. Zale drives the right hand that grazes the chin. Graziano comes back, fights gamely, but goes down from two left hooks on the jaw. And he's taking the count from referee Paul Cavalier. Graziano just up at the count of 8. He is a very wobbly young man. Zale coming after him again, trying for knockout. Drives a right to the body, a right and a left to the jaw. A left hook to the jaw, right uppercut on the mouth by Zale. A right to the body, a left hook to the jaw by Zale again. And Graziano is thrown on the canvas. And the count is 5, 6, 7, 8. He's not going to make it. 9, 10. He is knocked out. Regain the middleweight championship of the world. The first middleweight to do that since Stanley Ketchel.
Oh, I could feel those punches years later, Rocky. I bet you can, too.
Oh, boy, I'm just... Why'd you do that to me?
Rocky, were you hurt from that knockdown? You seemed to be out pretty
Oh,
cold.
yeah, after that fight, I went to the hospital. I had a concussion.
Yeah, your head hit the canvas when you
I had
went
a
down.
I
concussion.
didn't hit you that hard.
No, although you hit me, I went to the hospital in Chicago,
Sure.
and I had a concussion in the head. You know? That's why I'm so.
When you got up on the 7 count, you came right out swinging again. Did you think if you had it to do over again, you'd do that? Wouldn't you run a little bit and hide and something like that?
I wanted to, Kirk. I would really, honestly and truly, fight the same way I done. You know, the only way I could fight. I was a street fighter, and I would fight the same way. And I would think he would do the same thing. You know, we were guys just walked in, and he would like to take me out. I would like to take him out. Unfortunately,
Either he or I, one or the other. And the idea was that
Very-
it could be he.
Very cool performer when he had you in trouble. He really measured you, didn't he, Don?
Yeah, I thought you mixed those punches up pretty well, Tony. You didn't go wild to the head. You threw some good shots to the body.
Pretty sane.
Yeah.
Pretty close, I think.
All right, let's go back on an instant replay in slow motion and take a look at the KO. I'd like to get your comments. Both of you come in now. We're reliving history here in the way it was. This is New Jersey, 48, and the dramatic wind-up of this middleweight title fight. Let's go, Rocky.
all right. I was looking to bang him out, and of course I see he was in pretty good shape then.
Ooh.
I got hurt right there. Right there, I got real hurt. And that was, but I looked to fight back, you know, like I told you, we were trying to bang each other out, and I never wanted to stop, but I was in fairly decent shape there. He hit me a couple of good bangs over there that you don't see around.
Seems to be that left hook, Tony, you're doing the damage.
Yeah, you know, as an Italian, I should have done something different. I should have had the gun in the ring with me.
Tony,
But-
I noticed you don't waste many punches.
I was just told me I had to get him out of the way because of let's take chances. I took a chance before and it didn't work out to my advantage, so I had to make sure it didn't get it.
I never
happen
should have done that there. I was seeing
Who is
that.
that?
No, that I was so dazed over there.
You mean you shouldn't have gotten
over
up?
there. No, but I put him up on the ropes and I was out.
Looked like to me they should have ended the fight there.
The referee
I thought that was a brave referee, didn't you,
I
Tony?
think that referee should have stopped the fight.
I think he should have stopped it.
But take a look at that. Look at a nice look at the Italian kid like that.
Nice guy like that.
What do you hit the guy like that for? Anyway, but we tried, Tony.
We fought to win. We gave the people what they wanted to see. And
Look at that. Oh, my God. That's why I got a concussion right over there.
is that right?
I went to Chicago Hospital.
Tony, you were 34 years old. You were a 2.5 to 1 underdog. 35.
35 years
Is
old.
this the greatest thrill you got out of
I
boxing
was
this fight?
35, May 29th. We fought June 9th, the following month.
This your greatest thrill in boxing, this fight? This your best thrill?
It was because of the fact that we were able to get a title, which had never been done for many years before.
Oh, we
So it
boxed
was
three
a quite
times,
distinction in that regard. I felt
Boxed three times.
that I achieved something worthwhile all the more because I regained my title. I also think the second one in history to do that.
Everybody's demanding the 4th fight, Don. They didn't fight. What happened?
I don't think Rocky demanded a 4th fight, did you, Rocky?
I don't want to fight him.
You're watching Graziano versus Zale, the final chapter on ESPN Classic Sports.
Knockout of Rocky Graziano in their 3rd fight gave the middleweight title back to the man of steel. Now let's rejoin the way it was as Don Dunphy has an excellent matchmaking proposal for Graziano.
Rocky, I want to ask one question. You fought Zale and you fought Ray Robinson.
Right.
What would happen if Zale at his best fought Robinson
I
at his
don't know
best?
why he didn't fight Robinson, because this here guy could have licked Robinson because
You think so?
he was a good body puncher, tough guy, and I think that
That would have been a great
Tony,
fight.
I think it would have been a great fight. In my opinion, I fought Robinson and I fought Tony. In my opinion, I think that Tony Zale would have licked him.
What if Tony Zale had squared off with Sugar Ray Robinson? It almost happened. The actor-comedian Jerry Lewis, a huge boxing fan, who once appeared on the vintage television program the main event with Rocky Marciano, had a hand in trying to arrange a Zale Robinson middleweight bout. Let's hear the story from Tony Zale.
What about you, Tony? Do you think you could have beat Ray
Back
Robinson?
in 1949, or 1952, I think. I had, you see, when I fought, I had a very bad right elbow. It was gone. He didn't know it. It's a good thing he didn't know it.
No, just
The elbow was gone.
Why you tell me?
I should have told you after. Anyway, it was gone. I had the arm operated on in 49. I got service. I got quit boxing. I had 5 punctures put out in the elbow. I had terrific pain. The doctor told me if I waited longer, I may have lost the arm. So I had the operation and everything else. In 52, I was in good shape. Training and everything else, working with the boys and coaching, you know. And Jerry Lewis, the movie star, came to Chicago. Called me up. We had a talk. He asked me, Tony, would you fight Ray Robinson? I said, gladly. I had always wanted to fight him before in the first place. He said, okay, that's all I want to know. So they called Robinson and they offered him $300,000. He told me, no go. And, back then, I had a boy boxing on Robinson's card in Omaha, Nebraska. This boy, I don't remember, he lost the fight, won the fight, but anyway, I was passing by Ray Robinson in his outfit, and he said, hey, Tony, I said, yeah, Ray. He said, you know, they all wanted to fight you. They offered me a lot of money. I won no party, I knew better, he said.
That's
I would
nice.
have made $500,000.
That was a great
I would have made
compliment.
$500,000.
Bert, Jerry Lewis, the comedian, tried to make a match between Tony Zale and Sugar Ray Robinson. The match never took place. If it had, who do you think would have won?
I happen to think at this point in time, Tony Zale, as great as he was still in the decline of his career. He was closer to the end than the beginning. Sugar Ray Robinson was on the way up. He was a welterweight, Zale a full-fledged middleweight. Therefore, it would have been hard to make it, but I still think that Ray Robinson was the greatest fighter in the history of boxing and would have won somehow, some way, somewhere, although he did step aside and not fight people that he knew he would have trouble with, as he did it with Archie Moore later in his career. So my thinking is he probably stepped aside from this potential fight because it would have given him a heck of a lot of trouble.
Sugar Ray was not only good, he was also smart.
Oh, yes. And his manager, George Gainford, who knew there's something called Gainford law. It's not how many seats you have in the house. It's how many asses you have in the seats in the house. Probably was looking forward more to a Graziano than a Zale fight at that time.
I hope nobody's counting here. When we come back, we'll take a look at where Graziano Zale ranks among boxing's greatest rivalries.
You're watching Graziano.
Where does Zale Graziano rank among boxing rivalries?
First of all, it's the first trilogy, the first threesome. So it gives shape to Alley's and Fraser's and Alley's and Norton's and all of those. Secondarily, for its ferocity, I think it compares to any. Those first 2 fights were brilliant. The third, not quite as brilliant because it didn't turn as oft. But the ebb and flow of those 3 fights basically lit up boxing skies right after the war, and they're something that all of us use as a standard for great fights to follow.
Boxing isn't the same when it doesn't have those rivalries. It needs them. It's its lifeblood.
Well, there's that old thesis that you're only as good as who you fight. And in this case, Graziano and Zale were not good. They were great.
Maybe so. After they stopped boxing, which probably neither of them wanted to do, to talk about their lives afterwards.
Well, I remember Rocky Graziano wandering the halls of an agency I was with, Papert Koenig Lois, doing the Dannon yogurt commercials and saying and practicing in the halls cultured yogurt. He had gone to work with Martha Ray, who had basically found him and put him into show business, and he became basically not a dem, dare, and doze guy so much as a New York quintessential spokesperson. Tony Zale went back home to Gary to work with the CYO, to teach kids to box, and remarried after his first wife passed on, a very lovely lady who was a female baseball player who was one of the ladies pictured in A League of Their Own.
Right.
So they each had a separate life which was in keeping with their lives before their classic 3 matches. One became New York to the world, and one went home to Gary just to be Tony Zale.
Of course, Rocky spent his whole life playing himself, which was his best role, which he did off screen and in hundreds of commercials. Rocky, like Bert Sugar, was a character. One of my favorite Rocky Graziano moments occurred on December 14th, 1969, while he was taping a segment of the Joe Namath Show. Rocky was a guest on the program, along with another great athlete, the heavyweight author in a featherweight frame, Truman Capote.
You've written about such a wide range of subjects. Have you ever had any interest in football?
Well, believe it or not, when I was in boarding school, I was played center field in the boarding school football team. But the only reason was no, I was pretty good. You know, I'm small, but I'm very strong. It's that someone once said about me, he's small, but his sting is deep. No.
What do you think, Rocky?
What do you mean by that remark?
But anyway, I wanted to tell you why the reason was that in the boarding school why I would say this, because I was the only person who had brains enough to remember the signals.
It's quite a school, I bet.
Joe plays center field now a lot for the Jets.
Yeah.
Hey, Truman, didn't I box you in Cleveland? Truman, you'll do a heck of a great job doing commercials. Because me and you, nobody will understand this.
I don't think Rocky quite went for that whole story about you and Humphrey arm wrestling. Why don't you just have a little arm wrestling contest here?
No, I'm not going to.
I told you he was afraid.
I've passed those days.
I really,
No.
I think Mr. Capote just doesn't want to make a fighter look bad. You know, I mean, you have this whole image, you know, about being tough, and he just doesn't want to put
I'm
you
not
down,
tough.
right?
I'm just a I want to just arm wrestle just once. Come on, Truman.
I'm not going to.
The guy wrote such great book in Cold Blood and all those killers. You could take my arm apart.
I don't believe in doing things physical on television.
I confess I was responsible for arranging the guests on the Joe Namath Show back in 1969. The Graziano Capote matchup was probably my best card. Thanks to Bert Sugar for joining me to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Graziano Zale third fight. ESPN Classic Sports will return with more in just a moment.